Hi, what's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. I'm Victorine. Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
Victory.
So today we're gonna be asking you a few questions.
hmm
So let's start with so what's this occasion we're celebrating?
It is my dad's big 80 birthday celebration. So I would like to greet him. Happy 80th birthday, Daddy. Big milestone and all the goodness, the luck, the fortune you deserve.
So I have a few questions for you. One of the questions is what is the one fondest moment you had with your father before you were a teenager?
Fondest moment when I was a teenager, so like
Before.
before 10, right? I used to love going to my dad's work, you know, and I always looked up to him because he was an executive when he was working in Manila. That's where I grew up. And everybody called him JRP, you know. And in my mind, I said, one day I want to be called initials, you know. Because to me, that was like, that is the pinnacle of success, you know. And another one is the fact that my dad, as far as I can remember, when he was not abroad, he would never ever forget my birthday. It doesn't matter if I never really celebrated a whole lot of birthday parties, but he would always have a cake for me on my birthday. And every time he comes home, he would always say, "Come here, sit on my lap." And whoever is listening at the house, he would say, "You know, this one, this one is gonna be my nun." And it's laughable now, look at me, with all this eye makeup on. I mean, I'm sure if there's a monastery in Ermita, that's where I'll go. But no, clearly it did not go that route. But yeah, so are the two highlights.
Okay. And what about when you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager, so that would include my dental school years. During that time, my dad was already working abroad, and I was already in dental school. And there's this one moment I will never forget. He was home, I was at school, and I tried to live in a dormitory. And the dormitories there are like really, it's squalor. And I saw this man walking up with 5 sets of my white uniform that I wear every day, all pressed up, and my lunches all packed together, and then walking with tears in his eyes, and bringing it to me to deliver. And he said, I'm so proud of you. And I thought this man did not have to do that. But my dad is so sweet that way. He is such a loving father. He always shows support and sweetness. So I'll never and never ever forget that. And after that visit, I went home and stayed home. Left that dormitory.
Before we started this, you mentioned to me you were scared coming into the United States and how you were going to survive on your own. How, what role did your father play at that time for you?
The choice to go to the States was mine. And as the date started coming closer, as it was getting more real for me that I will be going to this journey on my own, I got really scared, and I first I asked my mother, and my mother had, of course, everybody knows mom is a philosopher, so she gave me a philosophical answer. He said something biblical. I'll share it when it's her time. It's not her birthday today, so anyway, I went to my dad as well, and I said, Papa, on the first day I go to America, I have 4 meetings to go to, and I don't know how to get from point A to point B. And he said, looked me straight in the eye and said, you are my daughter. As long as you can speak, as long as you can hear, there is an LA RTD, Rapid Transit District, you can take the bus. It is very, very dependable, and you can do it. I believe in you. And believe it or not, that day happened. I was able to go to 4 of those meetings, which probably covers, to give the audience an idea, Manila to Baguio and back. And I left the house around 6 a.m. in the morning and came home at 11:30, and maybe made like 17 different bus changes, but I made it whole. And that's because of my dad's belief in me. And I heard it and took it.
Was it, did they agree with this, that you should go on your own to the United States, or were they more supportive on it?
Yeah, both my parents are very supportive. They, all our lives, they always wanted us to be able to be independent, and be able to carry ourselves on our own, support ourselves, and yeah.
It's a long day, huh?
A long journey.
Yes. So talk about journeys. You mentioned to me also how your dad has been a huge part of your journey in getting your dental license. And what were those parts?
Every time I have something major happen in my life and I call on Papa, he's always there in a heartbeat. Doing the boards, living in Virginia and taking the boards in California is a real feat, because this involves doing examinations, getting patients out there, and this, people have to understand this was the time before cell phones, before even before emails, everything was by landline, by maps, and so we were able to help each other out, coordinate, and my dad is just the most amazing guy. He has the best sense of direction, and we were able to finish that 3-day gruesome board exam without a hitch. He was able to get my patients there on time, find them, find the place where they lived, all using a map, and at the end of the day, I had this like really bad headache because it was like high pressure, you work under pressure, no margin of error, and so that really takes a toll on your body, it's because it's really high pressure, high tension. But my dad, like a caring dad, after all that, and I just said, Pops, I feel like my head is gonna blow up, it's like I have this really bad migraine. And he goes and makes me soup, just to like alleviate the physical ailment that I was feeling, It was like never ever ending caring, Whatever I needed a friend to cry on, he was there. I needed a driver, he was there. He was there however I need him. He was a friend, he was a friend, he was a mentor, he was a driver, he was everything. He was everything to me.
You mentioned to me when you were getting your master's at Baylor in Texas, you told me that there was a moment when you knew you had somehow arrived. What do you mean about that?
Yes. I mentioned that earlier. I felt I've arrived, right? So I've always wanted, I thought when I was little, I thought people calling my dad JRP was a really cool thing. So when I arrived at Baylor, for lo and behold, for some strange reason, people started calling me DLP. And I said, huh, cool. And, it dawned on me that, hey, this was what I've always wanted, it's like self-prophecy, right? So everywhere I walk, hey, DLP is here. Don't do that. DLP will get angry. And DLP will be like, where is DLP? And even the dean of the college calls me DLP. Where is DLP? And during my whole stint at Baylor, when I was taking my master's, I designed this stent for implants, and they named it after me. It's called the DLP stent, such that I've made so many friends there that if they do any kind of surgery, they would say, have you made your DLP stent yet? So it's kind of cool.
It means a lot to you.
It means a lot to me. It means everything to me.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. How about the mistakes? How was your dad a part of it?
Just like the boards, that's a high point, a time of glory that you can celebrate, and you cannot help but when you're up there, people are around you. And I'm a De La Paz and a Dalisay, so when we fall in love hard. And no matter the reason, when I ask my dad, I need you here, he will be here in a heartbeat. There was a time I remember I was so broken that I couldn't even speak because I was just, if I tried to talk, I'll start crying. And my dad would just be there, quiet, will not probe, will not say, stop crying, or just like, don't even waste your tears, nothing like that. All he would do is like reach out his hand like that, And that message is tacit. It's not reaching out a hand like that, like, come on, let's go. It's over. Come on, get up. It isn't. It's, come, I'm with you. I'm behind you whenever you're ready. That's what it means. And if I don't take that hand, what he's gonna do is gonna make me soup. From his hand to my mouth, he will feed me that soup so I can eat. So he is that kind of a father. A very caring, thoughtful father.
What do you think about?
Ah, my darling. Oh, my
What does
darling.
your father think about Sophie?
Oh, my God. It's Lola's birthday. Happy 80th birthday, Lolo. When Sophie came to my life, I introduced Sophie to my family, my dad. I call him daughter, and he is so sensitive that he accepts her as one of his grandchildren. That means a lot to me because a lot of people would say, oh, it's just aso lang yan, It's like, in my language, it means it's just a dog. What's wrong with you? It's just a dog. But my dad knows how much she means to me. So I can feel that he does love her. And, little things like that. He is super sensitive. And I love him. I love him so much. Because of that, and for all the other things that I've already mentioned.
Of course. If he was right here, right now, in front of you, what would you say to him?
Thank you, Papa, for being your wonderful self. I wish in my life I can be just at least half or a contribution, a little contribution to the legacy of a generous heart that you are, and that I may give you pride as your daughter.
What was the biggest things have you learned from your father through your life?
My dad is actually a man of very few words, and this is the two lines that I learned very, very well from him. Live like it's your last day. Learn as if you will live forever. Happy birthday, Papa. I love you so much. Mwah. And if the other videos of my sister had some dance shows around there, so here you go, Vogue.